Hello, everybody. Hello. How we all doing out there? Hope we're doing all right. Today is the first podcast. Now, we're going to talk about what is a podcast. We're going to talk about how to do a podcast. We're going to talk about how to start a podcast. Hello, Ethan. Hello, Longbow. That's right. There are no redemptions because we're doing a podcast. Today's professional. So I've turned off the things. I've turned them off. Because how am I supposed to talk and discuss with beep-bop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doops going on, huh? Zoom and enhance. Longbow's on top of this. Whoa. Cats, huh? They're crazy. There's a little Finn boy back there. Well. Hi, Fiona. They're in the mood to play. So, first podcast. Now, what is a podcast? Let's find out together what a podcast even is. Let's try doing this. That's not what I wanted. I want it in this little box. Let's have it fit perfectly. Let's see, can it be... That's better. There we go. Now we'll turn down the background. We gotta turn it off completely. That's how we're gonna do this. So, you're here and you're wondering what's a podcast. Me too. I'm wondering that myself. Alright, so we got podcast episode 1. How are we supposed to even do a podcast? That's what this episode's about. Where do we even start? So together, we're going to find out. So first off, let's start with the basics, all right? What's a podcast? So a podcast is an episodic series of spoken word digital audio files that a user can download to a personal device for easy listening. Streaming applications and podcasting services provide a convenient integrated way to manage a personal consumption queue across many podcast sources and playback devices. So what we're doing today, and what we're doing every stream, is basically recording the podcast for later distribution. And we're going to do that live. Because I think it's important to, in today's modern era, we can discuss things with each other live on the spot. You know, if I say something controversial, I can have one of you post, the article to contradict what I'm saying and help support your point. The chat is yours, Longbow. Right down there. Right down there, Longbow, is where you belong. In the chat. Yeah. And whoever else joins. Sometimes people want to lurk. Now, this is intermission. Please wait. The stream is loading. The stream is loaded. We need another one of these. Can I take that off? Oh, but that just goes away, the whole thing. Hey, we're always loading, That's a part of life. Loading is a part of life. Change is inevitable. Okay? That's where you start first. Now, we're going to look at some popular podcasts. And I need your help and suggest if you know any podcasts that you want to suggest. I don't understand this whole Mr. Beast thing. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't know where he came from. He just popped up. See, but that's what I'm saying. He's so loud in adverts, you know, it's just like he is so like doing stuff like if you build a house, I'll pay for it. Like, you know, that's such clickbait. He's full of clickbait. So let's just get past that. All right. Let's look at the best podcasts. What's a video podcast? Is it just, you see Joe Rogan, of course. There's a Rooster Teeth podcast. Now, we're all familiar with Joe Rogan by now. We've all heard it. Now he's on Spotify. Yeah, Naffer, it is odd. Or am I calling you Ness? Am I calling you Rusty now? You're Rusty. I don't understand the whole beast thing. It doesn't make sense. It seems fake. So let's look at some podcasts. Now, of course, most of these are going to be cuts. Rarely is the whole thing. Here we go. It's like
you want to know why
2 hours.
Running on the treadmill 7 days a week doesn't work for you when you're trying to lose weight? Because it never.
Welcome back.
He makes a shit ton of money, but I think he started with a shit ton of money too.
Here we go again.
Great to see you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You will never forget what.
Now,
is
here's the
going on
Elon
in
Musk
the world
interview
when you
from
think
last
about
year.
When your child is born, you will know for the rest of this child's life, you were born during a weird time.
That's for sure.
That is for sure. Probably the weirdest that I can remember.
Yeah. And he was born on May the 4th.
And that's hilarious too.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Has to be.
It's just tunnels and that.
Pass all that.
Of course, he's got guests. Now, we don't have guests.
Sentimental reasons.
Right. Like campfires.
Let's try Twitch
exactly.
podcast. See, does anybody do... And now this is a podcast, but it's multiple people. Same with this. 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 Because I think it's really important to have people to bounce off of. But I think that's why we can have the chat. "17 hours ago, Twitch is dying." Yeah. How did I get back to these videos? For me. So we gotta put some work into the format. You're dissecting a Rubik's Cube with a knife. Wish you luck. Good luck. And don't do that. Don't try that at home, kids. Yeah, so most podcasts seem to involve other people. If I just type in podcast, what do I got? Now, see, I like stuff like this. This sounds interesting.
Science makes a probiotic.
Change your brain.
Seed's Daily Symbiotic is formulated with 24...
Hey,
everybody. Welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Dr. Andrew Huberman. Andrew is a neuroscientist. He's a neurobiology professor at Stanford
You got to be
Medical
close
School,
and intimate with a
McKnight
black background.
Foundation and Pew Foundation Fellow, and
All right.
founder of Huberman Lab, where he's involved in all kinds of really amazing breakthrough research on brain function, brain plasticity, and brain regeneration. His work has been published in top journals like Nature.
First introduction.
It's been featured in publications like Time, Scientific American, the BBC. And
What
he's here
you're
today
watching.
to discuss the brain, to discuss growth mindset, how to focus, how to
What to
navigate these
expect.
stressful times, and many other subjects. It's an incredible conversation. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I appreciate you watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, this is me and Dr. Andrew Huberman.
There's the famous Kanye West podcast, but man, Joe Rogan trashed the hell out of Kanye West in the past. And then he gets Kanye West on and he's like, oh, you're great. No way. Is this, what's his name, have his own podcast now? Gross. So most podcasts seem to include other people. Which we talked about doing, but it would be in the form of getting callers on. Unless we can find other people to FaceTime with. All right, so this guy seems to be doing all
video
his own.
viewers. You're about to watch me record an episode of my podcast, episode 699.
What?
There's not much more for me to say to the video viewers, except that I'll try and talk to you in the camera there as much as
Hey,
possible.
Trianon.
because You live there in the camera.
Welcome to the first episode of this podcast. This first episode is about how to do a podcast. So we're learning through research on how to do a proper podcast.
I'll be trying to talk to you, making eye contact, because we know how important eye contact is. But nevertheless, I'm reading from notes which are down there. All right? So when I'm looking down there, I hope, I haven't forgotten about you, okay? All right. Okay, I think we're going to start. Okay, here we go. Pressing record now. I hope I don't need to edit this stuff.
Can I not just live here without having to
Hello there.
deal
In this
with you
episode, the plan
animals?
is to wish you a happy new year.
That's right,
Happy
it
New
is.
Year.
And look what I just
Welcome
added
back
to
all
it.
my regular listeners,
Perfect.
and maybe some irregular
Thank you.
listeners too. And also say a big hello to any listeners who might have just discovered this podcast and who are wondering what it's all about. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're going, what's this? What's this podcast? What's this all about? What's going on? I normally do episodes like this at the start of the year because I'm recording this in January 2021. I normally record episodes like this at the start of the year during the New Year period because it's normal to turn over a new leaf, which is an expression which means to make a fresh start. So it's normal to kind of turn over a new leaf.
So
to make
he's
fresh
doing a
start.
full episode about his podcasts, and he's answering questions. So he says he does like one of these a year, which I think is really smart to do one of those a year. One, just kind of overall introduction. Hey, you're watching this. What are you watching? English podcast. Mr. Trianon, how are you? So here's a Joe Rogan thing with Matthew McConaughey, but it was through video. Age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Aquarius. Okay, now I'm familiar with these guys.
Okay, Limu, you
This is
said it. Then as I spike it, I'll tell them how Liberty Mutual
someone that
customizes
Faded
car
showed
insurance.
me.
They
It's
only
his
pay
group
for what
of
they
friends who do a podcast.
Hello,
But this is different because it's four of them. Wow, his eyes really blue. And this guy doesn't show his face. But yeah, it's just like four guys, and they each have their own YouTube channels, and they do a podcast about, I don't know, just random stuff, I guess. They just talk. So so here's a question. Should I have at least one person to talk with each time? Should I have a friend or someone we're interviewing, maybe someone we're asking questions to? Should I do that? And Your Mom's House podcast is good because I like what's his name there. He's funny. Now Bill Burr does a morning podcast, but it sounds like it's just voice.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday morning podcast for Monday, December 28th, 2020. What's going on? How are ya? It's the last Monday of the fucking 2020.
Okay. But I think I want to stick with the visuals because I want to be able to flail my arms around and you guys could see when I'm making a point. When something's important, they gotta listen to. You know? Gross. This guy is this guy on the right. They're both disgusting creatures. They're both bad. But what I think is important, I think it's good to have a podcast that you could also listen to. So it's a podcast that you can watch, but it's a podcast that you can also listen to. So I don't want to rely too much on visuals and mostly be just about the talking, about the situation. So you got to have jumping off points. You got to have jumping off points if you get lost. That's like things to talk about. That's like I already got a list of stuff. You know, like why was the guy in the Last Crusade? Why not just the guy? Why was the Crusader? Why was the Crusader in the Last Crusade so old and weak? Was God unable to keep him young and fit? What would have happened if, you know, it was another 100 years before someone came? Would he be dead? Those are important questions. That's what I wanted us to do with this ADD podcast. We're going to be talking over here, but then I want us to go over here. And then we're going to go back over there. We're going to go back and forth, and that's okay. But we should have a general idea of what to talk to, what to talk about for that episode. So, like, for example, this episode, we're going in knowing, hey, we're talking about how to do a podcast. That's what we're talking about. This is a big podcast. There's a lot of people. The 3 people there. Hey, Gonzo. Welcome back. It's interesting having just streamed last night and then streaming today. Feels like it wasn't that long ago. Oh, a podcast, but at a dog park. I like that. See, that's a good idea. Podcast, but outside is the name.
Let's start asking for guests.
Well, this guy's reporting us right now.
To what?
He's talking into his walkie-talkie and staring at us.
He might be getting in trouble.
Oh, he's coming to talk to our cameraman now.
I think this might be the end of it.
Is it?
Oh, this might be it.
I'm not with them.
You're filming them.
Yeah, no, I'm just filming them because I like them. Yeah, I'm not with them at all.
Okay. We're not sure what's
We don't
happening.
even know. We're
Yeah,
just
I
doing
mean,
it.
let's say that. Why
Yeah.
not? Now he's coming up to us, and we can tell him.
Hey, how's it going?
Permit.
We're just recording
We're just
audio.
recording
Is that
audio.
okay?
Just audio?
Yeah,
this
just
is
audio.
Just a little audio tripod.
So nothing's being filmed.
We're not
No,
filming
no.
anything ourselves, no. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Interesting loophole they got there. Anton,
Yeah,
guten
he's asked if he can
Abend.
film us. We said,
Good evening, my friend.
yeah. No, we're not together.
Sorry.
That's funny.
I cannot believe we got away with that.
Yeah, we're getting a big thumbs
Don't
up from
give
the
us a
camera.
thumbs
Don't
up.
give us a thumbs up.
Interesting. Well, that's a fun idea. Podcast, but outside. So they go places outside, and that's where they do their podcast.
Surprise! Hey everyone, we're gonna take the week off. We're gonna upload anything anyway. You kind of rushed through that there. We were supposed to take the week off, but
There's a guy, actually. Oh, thanks, dude. So, how long you been skating?
100.
Okay, so that's one interesting way. It does, and I like strangers. Gonzo, strangers are strange, and strangeness is okay with me. Bring it on. So, if you guys have any recommended podcasts, by the way, let me know so we can watch them for research. So, we're talking about how to do the structure of my podcast going forward. So, first, every podcast has to have an introduction. So I say, hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. My name is Commander Scooby, and today we're going to be talking about life. That's right. Life is ever evolving. For those that don't know, I do have severe ADD, so this podcast tends to go off the rails sometimes. It goes over here, it goes over there, it goes up there. Sometimes it goes down there. But we try to keep things above board. Okay? So what can you expect on this podcast? Well, you can expect that we're going to talk about important topics, okay? Like, why was the guy at the end of The Last Crusade so old? Or, now this is really important. This is something I really want to talk about. Why haven't bathtubs changed in size in hundreds of years, okay? Now that's something worth looking into. That's right, Hearthstone is now playable. You're right about that. Now, we could jump over to Hearthstone, and we could start playing and totally forget about the podcast, but we're not going to do that. We're here. We might be queer. Get used to it. Yeah. So, every episode of a podcast should have something to talk, like an overarching theme. Now, should I have guests? I will have callers. So at some point in the podcast, I'll say, hey, if you're interested in coming on the podcast and talking about something, come join the waiting room channel on my Discord, and we'll get you in there. We'll have a nice little chat. And so I'd say, hey, I'm live. And then if I saw someone in the waiting room, I'd bring them in, and I'd say, hey, welcome to the Commander Scooby podcast. What's going on? What can we do for you? And they can say, oh, I just needed some advice on this. Or, oh, I wanted to address your last talking point. You know, something like that. So let's get back over here. So we're also going to create a channel in here for podcast stuff. A podcast channel. So maybe one of my mods could do that, but we'll have a podcast channel to discuss everything related to the podcast, and I can keep that window open. So people want to talk in there, they can talk in there and talk about jumping off points. So thank you. Look at that. Look how quick that was. Look at Gonzo Blue right here. So quick. So everything related to the podcast will be talked about here, whether live or not. Today's episode is covering how to do a podcast. Longbow, he beat you by a hair. Look at that. He's got the perfect amount of hair to beat you by, too. Like giant strands. And there he goes. He posted about the information. Well done, well done, well done. So we can keep that window open at the same time we do other stuff. So the first thing, podcast introduction. Not what are you watching, but who. Who are you watching? So what to expect for every podcast. So you say, hey, I'm Commander Scooby. I'm also... this is the podcast where we talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about that. We talk about this. We roll with the punches. And what can you expect for this episode? Today's episode, we're going to be talking about bathtubs. For today's episode, we're going to talk about bathtubs and why they haven't changed in size since, who knows? Listen, people are getting bigger and bathtubs aren't, and that bothers me. I want to be able to relax in my bathtub, but only half of my body can relax at a time. So let's talk about bathtubs. At the same time, we're going to be talking about how to do a podcast. See, Longbow, yours was built in 1886, can't fit a bigger tub. But for me, this apartment complex I'm living in, was probably built in the last 10 years. So when did bathtubs stop growing? When was the time, was it like the 1800s that they were like, all right, this is a bathtub size, it's not growing any bigger? So let's check out Bathtub Wiki. Let's learn the history of the bathtub. Most modern bathtubs, blah, 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 made this way, porcelain, yeah. They got the overflow, they got the waste drains. Yeah, we know all that. They got the taps on them. Western-style bathtubs in which the bather lies down. These baths are typically shallow and long. Eastern-style bathtubs in which the bather sits up. These are known as furrow in Japan. Typically short and deep. Now, see, I'm not familiar with that. That's what they're standing in? Oh, yeah, so they stand in that, and they, like, shower themselves while they're standing in it. It's kind of odd. You can sit in it, I guess. But that's not really our focus here. We're not going to talk about furrows. We're talking about bathtubs. So, first we got to start at the beginning of bathtubs. Why haven't bathtubs grown? Where did they start? In the 1960s, fiberglass bathtubs became the standard for homes, being lightweight and inexpensive. Baby bathtubs, hot tubs, whirlpool tubs, blah, 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 blah. Clawfoot tub, considered a luxury item. Here we go. Evidence of the earliest surviving personal-sized bathtub was found on the Isle of Crete, where 1.5 meter, 5 feet, long pedestal tub was found, built from hardened pottery. 5 feet tub. Earliest... It doesn't say when that was found. Purple, the drawing's done? Awesome. Can I let me show it on podcast? We're talking about bathtubs right now, but we can take a second to look at the drawing. Hold on, I'll pull the window over here, you know. Oh, I love him. Guys, Purple decided to update the logo a little bit to have another shot at it. And that is the cutest thing. Look at his face. Look at his tongue. His purple tongue. Wow, Purple. That is adorable. I love it so much. Well, so now we have 2 icons to look at. Oh man, this one's got extra fluff too. I love the fluff. The fluff is great. Oh, Purple. I love that a lot. That is great. We gotta take a break for talking about bathtubs. Fluffy Dingo. We gotta work on his name. So that could be something in the podcast too, maybe. You know, we've got to get a name going for our dingo here. Now, this dingo, for those that may not know, the inspiration for this dingo was my old dog, Honey, who I love very, 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 very much. And I miss her very much. But that was the inspiration for... Because I always used to say that she looked like a dingo. And let me see if I can find a picture of her. See if I can find the picture that I sent Purple. Let me see if I can find the... Oh my gosh. Scroll, 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 scroll. Purple and I have lots of conversations. Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. There we go. There's the inspiration right there. Fluffy Dingo. You light, I miss her too. What's my favorite language? What's my favorite language? Well, I learned a lot of Latin growing up. There was the inspiration. I trust you. I mean, my favorite language is probably English because I can actually speak it. I don't know. All languages are cool in their own regard. But this is where the inspiration came from for our dingo. So it's a little bit of Honey and a little bit of me. And here we go. So Honey in Latin is Mel Wit. What? Mel Wit? I don't know what that WDYT word is. Mel isn't bad. Yeah, Mel. Mel's an interesting name. Oh, what do you think? Hey, that's what this podcast is about. It's about me learning. It's about you learning. But mostly it's about me learning. Shut up, Purple. I like Mel. Okay, so Honey in Latin is Mel. Is it a girl dingo? Is it a boy dingo? I don't know. Purple, did you draw a girl dingo or a boy dingo? Check below. Draw the rest of the dingo. You had boy in mind? Yeah, I think boy because I'm the boy, you know. Lord Price, dude. Absolutely, my friend. You were kicking ass in those hero games. It was fun to watch. That's me, the cutie, the patootie. This is adorable though, Purple. Well done. So this is what I'm probably gonna put on some merch, put on a mug, put on a t-shirt. Should I retire this one or should I use it for other things? I don't know. But I really love this. This is great. So I'll work on more of that later. So I was just showing the inspiration. I love this picture with her tongue out. She was the best dog. Very happy dog. Yeah, I could say Lord Price is good. Lord Price, check him out. He's a streamer. He streams a lot of Battlefront 2, and he's damn good at it. So, this is great. Oh, yeah, we need some emojis, too. We need more emojis. I need to do emojis of Finn and Fiona. And I need to do emojis of Mel. Potentially Mel. Mel's a good idea for a name. I like that. Oh, send you pics of Finn and Fiona? Here, I'll show you. Oh, there it is. They have their own Instagram. Adventures of Finn and Fiona. Where I keep up to date on all their pictures. Oh my god, they were so little. Oh, look at that face. Nah, can't click on it. Thank you, Purple. Mel's the name of your best friend. Little tongue out over here. Now, we've kind of said that Purple, I don't know if that'll help in your drawing, but we've kind of said that Fiona is the evil one and Finn's the good boy. But sometimes they switch. Sometimes Finn's chasing Fiona around. But, yeah, Fiona is the evil one. And Finn's a good boy. They're both wonderful. I love them both. Fiona just tends to be a little more harder on her bites. I love that one. They're all stretched out. They're adorable. So, This is their Instagram. His name is Mel Montes. He's your ride or die. Love that, man. That's great. So this is exactly what I'm talking about with an ADD podcast. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be over here talking about this, and then we're gonna come back to talk about this. So 1 second we're talking about that, then we'll come back. So Lord Price, you just joined today. Our main topic of podcast is bathtubs, and I want to understand, why haven't bathtubs grown in size since... I mean, look at this one. Evidence of the earliest surviving personal-sized bathtub was found in the Isle of Crete, where a 5-foot-long pedestal tub... People are bigger now. People aren't 5 foot anymore. We're taller. Bathtubs haven't shrunk as much as people have grown. And bathtubs aren't growing too. And it's annoying as hell. If I make it one day... all I want is a bathtub that I can fully submerge in. That I can sit in my bathtub. These bathtubs, I gotta like soak this part of my body. Okay, now I gotta move and soak this part of my body. Oh, this part of my body ain't even getting in the bathtub. It can't fit. But I gotta soak, I gotta turn over, I gotta move around, lift my legs up. Conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. Hey, Renegade, welcome. Darn Twitch. No notification. It's okay. I'm gonna send this podcast to my editor, Benji, and he's gonna put together just like the highlight, I suppose. Well, this is what I think I'll do. I think I'll post the complete podcast, and then I'll have Benji do an edit of the important part, like the history of bathtubs and bathing. That's gonna be the important part. Let's make this font bigger. I feel like people can't see it. Renegade, look at this. Purple drew a new dingo. A jacuzzi. Yeah. Let me just get a jacuzzi. When did bathtubs stop growing? quick history of the bathroom. Yeah, the ancient Roman latrines. Yeah. Women's swim day at the floating... Dang it. The floating baths. 5th Street and East River. Interesting. Well, that's fun. What's the history of the bathroom? Yeah, I mean, like, if I got to get a jacuzzi, I got to get a jacuzzi. But, you know, all I'm saying is the average size of a bathtub hasn't changed in hundreds of years. And that's wrong. Because people are growing. They made doorways taller because there's taller people now. You know, you go to old places in Europe. When I went traveling through Europe, you go into England, you go into Germany, you're going to all these places that are really old, you know, thousands of years old. You got to get in the doorway. You got to crouch to get in there. So they made doorways bigger. Why did they stop? Why were they like, hey, let's make doorways bigger, but let's not make bathtubs any bigger? Let's have bathtubs be the same size. Standard tubs. Why are bathtubs so short? Here we go. That's important. Science of bathtub size. There we go. Why are bathtubs usually shorter than a person's height? Thank you, scienceabc.com. What do we got? The idea of the bathtubs, more than 5,000 years. Yeah, wooden barrels, blah, 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 blah. The clawfoot. What could be the reason? What could be the reason? Considering most people aren't under 5 feet tall, it seems foolish to design a standard bathtub size that doesn't seem to fit most people. What could possibly be the reason? Look how comfortable he is in there. That's a bigger bathtub. But he can't fully submerge, Zach Galifianakis. Although there's no formal or universally accepted answer to the article's question, there are a number of factors that have likely led to this small tub size, including safety precautions, typical function, cultural norms, cost and efficiency, blah, 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 blah. Of course. Safety. Taking a bath is a traditionally relaxing activity, blah, blah, blah. Oh, to keep people from dozing off in the bathtub? But see, this just sounds like excuses, you know, because when bathtubs were made, they weren't thinking, oh, someone might fall asleep in that. They were like, someone needs to submerge their body. So, one possible reason, say exactly, Renegade, safety. That's what they're going to tell us. I don't buy it. Baths are more, including in many parts of the world, including the United States, baths are more often associated with children than adults, at least in terms of daily hygiene. Well, yeah, because you got to wash your kid in a bath. You're not going to wash your kid in the shower. But adults would take more baths if we could fit in them. The showers are quick. You get it over with. You're done. So I want to soak sometimes, but I can't. Cultural norms. Gonzo, one thing you've seen is they can't increase the size because of weight. That's true. It is a massive amount of water in a bigger tub. So cultural norms. In America, many people complain about the size of bathtubs, whereas Europe often has larger standard sizes. Damn it, Europe. Parts of Asia and Europe prefer larger bathing spaces, seated bathtubs that are smaller and deeper, or much larger public bathing areas. There are exceptions to cultural norms, of course, but the country you're bathing in may have something to do with your level of comfort. Also cost, sure. Now look at that. They look like they're in there. But his legs are up at the edge, so he's not quite in there. I'd rather take out these two things and make one giant tub, then we're talking. Then we're talking. It's two tubs because they're romantic and they want to take a picture together, and then they got divorced the next day. Space efficiency. Most home and apartment designs base their room sizes off of standard expectations for appliance size. For example, if you're looking to buy a pre-made home, give you a Fiona picture. Hold on. This is when we divert from the conversation to go quick. Cat, what the hell? I was just looking at it. Now I gotta log in. I didn't have to log in earlier. Okay, that's the wrong path. I don't even know what password that is. I don't think that's the right. I don't think that's the right login either. I don't know what that was. Purple's doing these emojis quick. All right. So let's get back to bathtubs. So sure, you can't fit bigger bathtubs in a smaller bathroom. Well, then they got to make bathrooms bigger. They got to compensate for a larger bathtub. Next time you're feeling cramped in your bathtub, wishing you had a further 6 inches, stretch your legs. Remember that the condensed nature of the tub is intentional. Having a tub that is only 5 feet long can help keep you safe, save you money, align with cultural norms, and utilize the space in your home efficiently. Okay, screw this last part. Just cut that out. I don't care. This is the only part that I can understand is keeping you safe and save money. That's it, but that's very weak. That's like thin ice. That is a weak excuse. I mean, this whole article seems to be written by the point of view of the company. The company's just like, deal with it, okay? Oh, you're not dealing with it? Well, here's some reasons that we came up with on why you should deal with it. Number one, safety. We don't want you falling in the tub or falling asleep. We know you like to drink wine in the tub. Well, you know, stupid people are stupid people. You know, if I owned a house, yes, I would get a bigger bathtub light, but I don't. I live in an apartment. The point of this podcast is, why is the normal size of a tub not grown in thousands of years? That's what I want to know. And we're finding our answers. Money. I mean, money's the main, this is the biggest, forget everything else. This is the main reason right here, money. That is the main reason. Because one, now they got to build bigger tubs to accommodate people. That costs money. They got to fill those tubs up with more water. That costs money. You know, they got to build bigger bathrooms to house the bigger tubs. That costs money. So a company is more likely to come up with all these reasons on saying, listen, you don't need a bigger bath. Toilets are another point. Light. Toilets are kind of the same thing. I'm talking important stuff here. Longbow, you tell your dad this is important. This is stuff we all think about all the time. This is stuff when we get in a tub and we relax and we go, why can't I have a few more inches? Why can't I fit in this tub? So, but you guys live in Europe, so you're dealing with your fancy big old bathtubs where you can fully submerge. Listen, I'm in America. They're cutting corners around here. They've been cutting corners for thousands of years. And they're just saying, accept it. That's the way life is. And I say, no. We don't got to accept it. Purple. Now, just buy a pool. Sure. Just buy a hot tub. You know, I'm not one to go take my shampoo and my soap to the local pool or the local hot tub or the local springs and start washing up. Maybe I should. Maybe next time I go to the hot springs, I should bring cleaning stuff. You know, it's on a creek. It'll get washed away in the creek. But then what am I adding to the water? Chemicals? Shampoos? Soaps? That ain't right. So this final word is nonsense. This whole article is written from the point of view of the company. We know the real reason bathtubs haven't grown is money. Right there. Now, of course, if there wasn't COVID going on, I would love having more bathhouses. You know, you got to be careful with your bathhouses, though. Some bathhouses are more than just bathhouses. I just want a bathhouse. Now, I've been to a bathhouse once. It was great. You know, shower, you get fully submerged in hot water, you clean, you wash, you do the whole, you go back and forth, you go there, you go here, you go there, you get the whole thing going on. But that's right, the man trying to keep me down with a small bathtub. That's what's going on. The man is trying to keep me down with a small bathtub. Hey, okay, let me tell you this much. You guys know the embarrassing, awful, disgusting, sad thing that happened in America yesterday or 2 days ago was the storming of the Capitol. I'll tell you this. If half those people that stormed the Capitol had bigger bathtubs, they probably wouldn't have stormed the Capitol. If they had a nice big bathtub to soak their body in, relax, they probably wouldn't be going to the storm of the Capitol. That's my theory. That's one theory. Now, obviously money. So let's answer our questions, all right? For this podcast, why haven't bathtubs grown in size? Money. That's it. They could the people that's got to spend the money are going to come up with reasons. They're going to say safety. They're going to say cultural norms. They're going to say more water equals more money. Blah blah blah. The man BS. All right? If people had bigger bathtubs, I think we would live in a better world. Now, I was watching a video recently on the Finnish, the Finns, the Finn-ish people, the people of Finland, and they got spas. Spas are huge. Spas are massive, and they're relaxed people. They seem happy. You know, they go in a spa, they sweat it out, they wash. You know, they don't have a bathtub, but they got something. Where's our something? Where is our daily opportunity as an average American to relax and in a thing? And it should be a bathtub. It should be a bathtub. Everybody should have a good-sized bathtub to soak and relax in. But my bathtub, my feet are sticking out, or my head's sticking out, or my gut's sticking out. My gut, it's sticking out of the tub. That ain't right. You're damn right, Longbow. Americans cannot relax. There's no profit in relaxing. There's more money in stress and therapy. Yeah, exactly. Give people... Listen, if I was running a presidential platform, one of my first things would be make sure everybody has access to a decently sized bathtub. I'd say we need to change bathtub average sizes from now on. I'm not saying we need to go back and redesign everything to fit we need to set a thing. We need to say, listen, bathtubs need to be 6 feet long, not 5 feet. Give me 6. Listen, I'm 6 foot something, 6 foot and a quarter, and I'm saying give me a 6 foot bathtub. The 28th Amendment, 6 foot bathtubs. All right? No, you're right. The lobbyists will not support me. They will condone me, and I will lose. Because I've got to go up against the corporations. And that ain't right. That ain't right. So what do we do about this? Well, not much. You don't have a lot of choices. You got to have money to make choices. You want to do something about this? You got to have money. You got to have money to make big choices. You got to have money to have a bigger tub. It's like, oh, I could just go buy a bigger tub. Yeah, but it's not going to fit in my apartment. I gotta get a house. All right, we got Fiona Rage. Purple, let's see it. Fiona Rage. Whoa. Fiona's raging, guys. There's a Fiona raging emote. She's got like Terminator eyes. That's funny. So for pure rage and fire, tenacity, we got the Fiona emote. I see shiny thing, I must murder it. No, that's great. That's great. We need some Finn and Fiona emotes, so that's good. And I can take away my angry emote, because there's a lot of emotes that I don't use, you know? Like, let's see how many emotes do I have here. Like, I got this angry emote. I never use it. Because, guys, when am I angry? You know, when am I ever look like that? So, yeah. Speaking of emotes, how about that Pog guy getting canceled? Yeah, so the Pog guy is like Pog Champ or something. I'm not really too sure about that. I think so. People were streaming the Capitol riots and using the Pog Champ emote as part of the riots, and so Twitch was quickly like, "Yo, let's not use that." Yeah, Purple. Let me show y'all Purple's new mascot. Purple's new YouTube mascot. Purple had another artist. Oh, it's because he posted support for the riot on Twitter. Okay. So they shut that down. Yeah, Purple got a new character. Let me grab it. It's great. What's the name? Candy Kip? Is that what we decided on? You decided on? There you go. There's Candy Kip. Yeah, I think it's great because you're purple candy corn. We got candy corn and we got purple. It works. Totally works. It's great. It's perfect for you. The skull thing going on. Yeah. Fantastic art. Candy Kip, it works. You know? Hey, you were talking about other languages. Have you tried, what's purple candy corn in another language? You know, maybe you get some influence off of that. I don't know. But they need names for that, too. You have. Listen, if Americans had bigger bathtubs, they'd be more chill. I think that is a direct link. If Americans had bigger bathtubs, they'd be more chill. Ferret dragon. Nice. Yeah, that's good. It is like a ferret dragon. The skull, of course, always reminds me of a Cubone. So I could have guests call in over something like this, you know. Longbow sent me a picture of his giant bath. The giant bath is green, Longbow. That ain't right. That needs to be cleaned. I would not recommend swimming in that, okay? If your bathtub's green, don't swim in it. Yeah, I'm going to add Fiona later today. That's good. Oh, look at him. He's so cute. Let's share that. I love it. So, you know, also we got to talk about limits, time limits of podcasts. You know, how long is this podcast? I say we just keep going until I can't go no more. Because that's the one thing about ADD. Listen, if I'm not interested, I'm not interested anymore. Hey, Simple Thimbles, how's it going? That's all right. You lurk away, my friend. Over an hour, under 2. I agree, Renegade. That's a good thing right there. So we spend an hour to 2 hours just ranting about everything. And then I'm going to have my editor just pick out the important bits, like talking about bathtubs. That's important. Very important. But let's get back on track to the actual podcast itself. So should I have guests? Depending on the topic, I will have callers. So maybe one day we want to talk about relationships. I don't know. Maybe one day we want to talk about stuff that people can have advice on, I think it's important to, as a community, and not just as a Discord community or a Twitch community, but more as a community of human beings, to feel like we can talk about things, to feel that we can share, we can talk without feeling ostracized or, put down for how we feel. So first we start with an introduction. Who are you watching, Commander Scooby? What do you expect? Well, you're going to expect a very ADD podcast. If I had guessed, then I would mention it then. And then we just go. And then we just go. And we're going to make it 1 to 2 hours long. And then we're done. So, at some point these conversations are going to get deeper, what's going on right now in America, it's worth talking about. But everybody's talking about it, I think it's worth talking about the corruption and the attempted coup of our government and crazy things. I saw a picture this morning of a guy who stormed the Capitol, and he had zip ties, tons and tons of zip ties. You know what someone's doing that's storming a Capitol building with tons of zip ties? They're looking for people to tie up. They're looking for Congress people to... it was crazy. This dude was in full military gear with 100 zip ties on his waist, just ready to go, just ready to whip it out, start tying people up. It was crazy. Donuts to be the main food group. The Second Civil War won't happen. It won't, because you'd have to have a bigger split, and not as many people support Donald Trump as he makes it seem. People already jumping ship. People are... They want to support him just enough. They want to find that... Everybody's trying to find that middle ground. Right now, many people around Trump are jumping ship. His security advisor and education person, Betsy, all these people are leaving because they don't want to... One thing, they don't want to be responsible for kicking Trump out. They want to say, I just left to avoid the situation. Because they don't want to be on his bad side. Because who knows what he knows about them. I don't know. But that's a whole podcast within itself. Talking about Trump. Talking about Donald Trump is an entire podcast with itself. But we don't have to do that here. Listen, I think we solved the bathtub issue. Solved it. We found answers. We found answers for the bathtub issue. The main and most important part being money. The most important reason why bathtubs have not increased in size in thousands of years is money. 1 to 2 hours long. And then we're going to, we got to end it. And then we end it. And then we end it. Turkish baths don't even have water? Well, then why are they called baths? Something wrong. Turkey, what are you doing? Oh, so cute. Love it. That purple tongue that she had. Oh, I miss that face so much. I miss her a lot. She went down too soon. Damn cancer was spreading so fast. And we couldn't do anything about it. And it's like you can do things about these things, but how much money you pay? You have to pay so much money. And it's just, it's tough. It's a tough decision to make. Because, you could pay a lot of money to try to do something to fix it, and then it doesn't even work. And it was the hardest thing ever. Why is death with pets sometimes seem to affect us more than death with humans? Why? I always feel like it's because they're innocent in a way. We see animals as innocent. They're going along with us. The animals are doing what we set them out to do. They don't know any better. And pets show us a lot of affection and sometimes unlimited affection. Right, exactly, Longbow. We see 6 people die in a movie. We're like, oh no, those people died. We see dog die. We're like, oh my god. Oh my god, the dog's dead. Oh my god. I can't believe they would kill the dog. What bastard wrote this? Who's in charge here? Who do I gotta send an angry email to? I think it is because we see them as innocent. We see them as innocent. It's not their fault. Dogs, cats, animals, they're usually just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But it's like if I see a tiger attacking a man and then they shoot the tiger to save the man, I'm not going to be going, oh, well, I am going to go to it's a little bit smaller of an extent of, oh, that poor tiger. It's not his fault. He was just acting on instinct. He was scared. He was attacking someone, or he was hungry, or whatever. It's circumstances. Everything's circumstances. Everything is a circumstantial evidence. So about now, I guess, is the time where we start talking about potentially wrapping things up. So we got to come to a complete end of the podcast. We got to say, hey, I'm glad we got to talk about bathtubs because it's something that's been really bothering me. I understand why bathtubs are smaller, but I don't agree with it. Thank you to scienceabc.com for actually helping me answer this question. And after the podcast, we will move on to some video games. Yeah. But what kind of video games will we play? Well, Among Us. That's an interesting way to spell it. I don't know if Friday is a day for Among Us. Cats. Longbow, we probably can stream Death Stranding. I probably can. I think that when I tried it, I was having internet problems. I wasn't getting the internet speeds that I was promised. I probably can stream Death Stranding. Utsura's playing SCP. That's funny. The Amazing's playing Project Winter. Longbow's playing Death Stranding. I was playing Hold Fast yesterday. That's a fun game. The cleanup detail game was good. The game would be really fun with more people for sure. But it's also like there's not enough to do. It's like you play it and you're like, okay, I'm cleaning, and then that's it, you know? I would love a second version of this game. But I don't know. I might play some Death Stranding. Maybe not. I'm glad that we were able to have our first podcast. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here to help me with this. We're going to continue to do this. This is the first podcast, and I think it's good to come up with a title after the podcast is over. You know, like, what will we title this podcast? Well, you know, episode 1. Why aren't bathtubs getting bigger? You know, something like that. Adam Savage's podcast is called Untitled, still not title. Yeah, he's Adam Savage. You can get away with that, you know. Thank you, Simple Thimples, for being here. So we'll have a whole week to come up with topics for the next podcast. You know, maybe we'll talk about movies sometime. Maybe we'll talk about music. I don't know. You know, I'm open. If someone has topics in mind, say, hey, I would really like to see Commander Scooby talk about this topic on his podcast. You know, let me know. But I think one day we need to do a podcast about, you know, we're going to have to do a political podcast one day because people deserve to figure out the truth. You know, what is the truth? It's worth finding out. But thank you very much for joining me today on this podcast, episode 1. We talked about bathtubs. We talked about how to get that podcast started. We have a format, and now we have a jumping off place for our next podcast for episode 2. What will episode 2 be about? Who knows yet? There's a Fiona's attacking my foot. Ow! Fiona, ow! Stop it! I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. No, you can't escape because I got you. Ah, ha, ha, ha. No. No, you can't escape. Ah, she's escaping. She escaped. All right. So, the podcast is over. I guess I should do like a little ending. I could be like, hey, thanks everybody for joining the podcast. My name's Commander Scooby. If you like this, stay tuned. We'll have another one next week. And we'll be uploading these to the YouTube channel. The full complete podcast as well as an edit of the important bits like bathtub sizes. And that's it for now. See you later, alligator. What do I usually say? See you, tamale. Hey, Scoobycast. Look at you, John, coming in with a great idea. Look at that. You just had a great idea. What if we called it the Scoobycast? That's an idea. So you came in with very helpful information, John. Well done. Yeah, we are going to play some games after the podcast, after the Scoobycast. Something I was going to say. I don't remember. Lost my train of thought. Scoobycast. How do you even podcast? We got the format. Blah, 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 blah. We got new art. I like how that ear's backwards. That's cute. We got Fiona emoji. You got nothing to be sorry for, John. You did good. You came in with some helpful information. But we are going to do this every Friday. And then we're going to play games afterwards. Sometimes. Depends on how heated the podcast gets. You know, maybe I won't do ads. I mean, ads, games. This podcast is brought to you by... I don't have any sponsors yet. We got to get some sponsors. So maybe that's a podcast-worthy thing to do. So for future podcasts, what about sponsors? How to get them? I always feel like I need to be sponsored by some sort of beard, shaving stuff, some sort of trimming beard equipment. They are crazy. Crazy cats.